12:05 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday, as we like to say, time for Helping Seniors of Brevard, the show for and about seniors, their caregivers, relatives, you name it. Everybody kind of comes under that umbrella, but let's find out exactly what's going on with the show today as we introduce the host of the show and the executive director of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Here's none other than Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper, and thank you. And another beautiful Wednesday here in the Space Coast area. And it's always a pleasure to gather around the radio lunchtimes every Wednesday. We make it a Wednesday lunchtime habit with the Helping Seniors radio program right here on 90.3 FM. WEJF, and also hello to those of you joining us online at wejf.net, and also hello to those of you who will hear this program later as a podcast, because we're out there on everything from iTunes to Amazon Podcasts to Spotify to iHeartRadio, and just a whole bundle, and even those who might be picking this up on YouTube or Facebook. So welcome to the show. We have such an exciting show today. I'm really excited to welcome you today. You're going to get a lot out of today's radio program. So on behalf of Joe Steckler, our president and founder, Nancy Deerdorf, our operations director, and our very special guest in the studio, none other than Jennifer Helin with Seniors Helping Seniors. How are you today, Jennifer?
Good afternoon. I am very well.
I am so excited to get to introduce our guest today because this is something we've been plotting for quite a while.
It has been. I'm really excited.
And people do not know the level of resources that exist in this community to help seniors. And so I'm really looking forward. I'm going to have you introduce our guest in just a moment here. But I do want to talk to you about a couple of things real quick before we get there. Again, you're going to get a lot out of this show, so please grab maybe a notepad if you're where you can write stuff down. Maybe grab a pencil. If you're driving, don't worry. We archive every program we do. So if you heard something important, you go, oh, I missed that, I want to get it. You can just go right back to the helpingseniorsofbrevard.org website and pick it up. But you know, Jennifer, our theme this year has been about getting your ducks in a row. And it's all about making an aging plan. So trying to get ahead of the things, it's a lot easier to plan for how you're going to work a problem than it is to actually be on the backside of the problem trying to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I have all of my paperwork done, including a pre-need guardian. We were talking about guardianship earlier. I have that done. So hopefully, if I ever get to that point, my kids will have it really easy.
Well, that's the thing we talk about. You do all this planning, one part for your own peace of mind and your own, I guess, so that you can rest easy that you've sort of got a plan in place. We always talk about the fact that we live in Florida, so we get when they tell us what's your hurricane plan, right? Doesn't mean that you've made a plan so now you want a hurricane. It means actually the opposite. You don't want the hurricane, but you're going to be ready with an idea of how you're going to work it if something is showing up. So this month, Jennifer, I wanted to say that in Senior Scene magazine, we made our theme your stay-at-home aging plan. So we've been covering different topics. We talked about, like you were just mentioning, the paperwork that you want to have together. We talked about some of the financial steps you might want to take. This month, you actually did the feature article where we're talking about 5 ideas of aging in place, because that's what you do. You're a big part of helping people be able to do that with Seniors Helping Seniors. Talk just for a moment about that.
So we are a homemaker companion agency that really does hire seniors to go out and help seniors. So when you talk about the continuum of care or the ladder of care, we are kind of that first rung into someone needing a little bit of help at home. And so a lot of times we are going and educating the seniors and or their families about having that plan in place so that as their care needs increase, if they do, they have a solid plan and they know what to do. And we're kind of walking through that with them. We are, we do transportation, like housekeeping, meal preparation, all of the things that help keep a senior safe and at home. And most of them, that's where they want to be. They want to be able to stay in their home for as long as possible. And we want to help them do that as safely as possible.
And what's the little thing that you always see over the hearth that says "Home Sweet Home"? Because that's where we are. But you also are a tremendous employer of seniors in this county too. Talk about that.
We do. We are a great part-time job for a senior that has retired. Maybe they've spent a couple of years fooling around, or maybe, the last couple of years they've been really isolated because of COVID. They want to get out, do something that they can feel really, really good about. We try to keep them within 5 to 10 mile radius of their home, so they know where doctors are, they know how that Publix is laid out, and we want them to have a really good time, because when that happens, when they're having a great time with the client's getting really great service, and it just works. So we would love to hear from people.
Yeah, I've gathered that, whether you're on that's one of the reasons that your organization is called Seniors Helping Seniors, is because, there's sort of that peer thing. The person that's coming to help kind of understands the generation that the person that they're helping is coming from.
Exactly. And we really try to match people. So similar interests, hobbies, maybe where they were from originally, so that it's a very good, comfortable thing, right from the start.
Yeah. So if somebody just wanted to maybe inquire on either side or learn a little bit more about Seniors Helping Seniors, how do they reach you?
They can reach us at 321-722-2999. Again, that's 321-722-2999. And of course, we're on the web and on social media as well.
Yeah. And I want to remind you to look for Jennifer's article. It's called 5 Ideas for Aging in Place. And it's in the center section. When you get your free copy of Senior Scene magazine, there's like 14,000 copies floating around the county at 500 different pickup points. When you get that, read that article. It's all part of making your aging plan. And next Monday, so we do every last Monday of the month, we do the Senior Resource Center of Brevard Education Series. And so that's actually going to be our topic. It meets at 10:30 a.m. over in, they call it the Nautilus Ballroom. At Zon Beachside. And so people come out there, and there's going to be a great conversation that's always geared towards helping you get your ducks in a row. So Monday, that's actually going to be our topic, same as it is in the publication. It's about how to age safely at home. And as a preview, as we go into July, that's going to be all about what if your idea for retirement might be, hey, you want to go beyond your current home. Maybe that could be anything. It could be like downsizing. It could be, I want to look at independent living. I could want to look at assisted living. Maybe it's a situation where I need to consider memory care and things like that. So we're going to get into all those topics then next month in everything that we're doing on the Helping Seniors front.
Very good.
So that kind of brings us to the point. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
I really am excited about this because I had the privilege of meeting this gentleman probably a couple of years ago. I was literally in the audience where he was giving a talk about a thing called Operation Lifesaver. And it was absolutely fascinating because until that moment, I didn't even know such a thing exists. And then, Jennifer, because you, in addition to sitting on our board of Helping Seniors of Brevard, the Florida nonprofit charity, you also sit on the Brevard TRIAD board, which is, that's where I want to let you pick it up and run it from there, because most of us haven't heard of Brevard TRIAD, and we need to.
Yes, absolutely. And just a quick correction, I no longer sit on the board. I have given up my seat as Public Information Officer this year to Amanda Walker. She's taking over.
Hibiscus Court, Amanda
but I will
Walker.
still be very much involved in Brevard TRIAD, as I always have been. Yeah. But very excited to bring you a gentleman that I've known for several years now, and had the opportunity to work with through TRIAD, and gotten to know him really well, know his heart, and what a servant leadership that he is. I'm very happy to introduce the president of Brevard County TRIAD, Joseph Downs, and even more excited to introduce his new role at the sheriff's office. He has worked with the sheriff's office for years too, but this new role is something very unique, not only for Brevard County, but I think in the entire state of Florida. And I'm so happy to have him talk about what this new role is, and I'm so proud of the Sheriff's Office for doing this for our seniors in Brevard County. So Joseph Downs, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was going to say, Sheriff Wayne Ivey is such an impressive individual because, he really has a big heart for people here on Brevard the Brevard County, call it the Space Coast, however you want to refer to it. And just the fact that we talk about seniors a lot, Joe, we talk about the statistics that 1 in 4 in Brevard County is over the age of 65. And if you at least want to go back and use AARP's definition, because they send you a membership card when you have your 50th birthday, 1 in 2 of us hits that. So a line I often use is in Brevard County, you either are a senior, love and care for a senior, or God willing, you live long enough, in a few years, you're going to be a senior. So everything that we try to do in Joe's organization is really geared to that. And as you know, Joe was the guy who started the Brevard Alzheimer's. He got all that rolling, and they call them Joe's Clubs to this day, the daycare centers for so caregivers can get some respite. And then, like I said, I had the privilege of meeting you and learning about Operation Lifesaver. And I don't want to jump so far down the road to think that people even know Operation Lifesaver, but that is a miracle by itself.
Yeah, it really is. I have to tell you, first of all, I'm blessed to work for Wayne Ivey. He's just a great guy.
Yeah.
I happen to work in an office with a bunch of wonderful people that I'm if anybody's ever been blessed, it's been me. A few years ago when Sheriff got elected, prior to his getting elected, he asked me if I was interested in running a program for him called Project Lifesaver. And I had no idea what it was, and so he'd asked that I meet with one of the lieutenants. I met with him, and he didn't have a lot of knowledge about it either. So he asked me, he said, just take this home and look it over and see what you think. I took it home, and I Googled it, and I YouTubed it, and I found the program is something that we have to have in our county. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we had 28 people enrolled in Project Lifesaver. It's a tracking device that we place on people that have memory conditions. Mm-hmm. And today, we've had, since Sheriff's been elected, we've had over 500 people into the program. So the program's simply one that's international. Mm-hmm. The typical questions I get asked when I'm out with the public talking about Project Lifesaver. I'm passionate about Project Lifesaver for a lot of reasons, and in particular is because when we have an endangered resident that happens to wander off and we don't have any way to track them, to find them, it makes it very, very difficult. And we waste a lot of resources trying to find them. So with that being said, we attach a bracelet on their ankle typically, and it looks like a wristwatch. Mm-hmm. It's the same skin tone color of a African American, or we have both for the African American as well as the Caucasians. And so we put the straps and put the device on them. It stays on 24 hours a day. It's waterproof. It's not GPS. If you do research, you're going to find that GPS does not work underwater. The easiest way to explain the device and the correlation is with a black box. So when a helicopter or when an airplane goes down the ocean, the black box starts sending out a ping or a chirp. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, they scan the ocean top with the radio frequency of that black box. They get a signal, they realize the fuselage and black box is right down below. We use the exact same technology. So when we have a person that's in Project Lifesaver and they got a bracelet on, helicopter and our ground crews, we swarm into the area. The helicopter can get a signal like 10 miles out. Wow. When we get a signal, we zero in on the signal and find the person. A couple of 4th of Julys ago, we had a woman from Indiana that came up missing, and we found that she was actually in the Melbourne Square Mall. And they said that she was, the helicopter was hovering above, and they said she's actually in JCPenney's. Now she's in the food court. Now she's in Dick's Sporting Goods. Now she's in LA Fitness. I arrived about that time, and we were able to find her and bring her back home safe. So with that being said, Project Lifesaver is international. So if you choose to take a trip and you go out of the county or out of the area, out of the state, we need to know, because we will take that information and upload it into that agency that you're going to be going to, and they'll keep an eye on you when you're there. And when you come back, they transfer the information back to us, and that's it. The cost is we loan the device to you. The cost is $100 a year, and that covers the cost of the batteries. If that becomes a hardship, then we have a scholarship way of being able to cover the cost of that. So Project Lifesaver is a phenomenal program. Who would have known that it would be as effective as it is? I can tell you we've never lost anybody yet in our county with the device on. And again, it stays on 24 hours a day. They can bathe in it, swim in it, whatever they want to do. And providing we get the call, we're going to go find that bracelet, and hopefully it's going to be attached to the person we're looking for.
Yeah, I've seen when you've given a demonstration and when you go out to senior fairs, you usually bring what the receiving equipment looks like, and you show it's really amazing technology. And like you said, it really gives peace of mind, not only for the people who are looking after their loved one, but really it makes it possible for you guys to make a difference. I just heard you guys sharing some really, I would call it horror stories when people show up from other places and they're just in our county, and then you guys are trying to figure out how to get them connected back where they're from. And if there's no such a program in place, it's a real, I mean, to put it bluntly, to me, it sounds like you're having to do a lot of detective work just to figure out how this person arrived here.
Yeah,
it happens more than you think.
Yeah.
It really does.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. And I meant to look this up, Joan. Maybe you have this statistic off the top of your head, but once someone has wandered, the percentage that will do that again is astronomical.
Sure is.
You know, so if they have wandered once, families say, "Oh, they've never done it. They won't do that again." Huh. Oh no, if they've done it once, 98% it will happen again.
And think about it, where TRIAD fits into all this. TRIAD is the financial backbone. They're the resource, the financial resource for the Project Lifesaver program. And again, TRIAD was created back in 1988 by the National Sheriff's Association. 1998, our local sheriff and state attorney created Brevard TRIAD. And it is made up of all law enforcement agencies in Brevard County, as well as state attorney's office. So when we meet, and COVID kind of changed things for us, we're getting back in the swing of things. But the idea is for us to work with all senior citizens and work with them and find out what their needs are, what their police agencies need, and then come up with solutions to those problems. So for instance, I was at a house yesterday afternoon and had a missing person. We found him, we put the bracelet on him, and then I gave him recommendations and suggestions of what we could do to help them. For instance, we encourage double deadbolt locks. You're going to have a key to get in the house, key to get out of the house. We give them recommendations about the windows and how to lock the windows. Cameras in the house, door rings, the ring doorbells, those are phenomenal. So we give them a whole bunch of recommendations. Now, if they come to me and say, hey, can't afford that, need help with that, then we need to go ahead and try to come up with another solution. And if that means TRIAD needs to figure out a way to be able to do that, we will. For instance, we had a house in Titusville. The brush was all over the front lawn and the front door, so when the lady came out, she could have been robbed. So, and there's a lot of risk there. So we were able to get the Boy Scouts to go in and eliminate that. Then we put solar security lights outside of her house. They're run on solar. We don't deal with electricity. And then we were able to put locks on her doors. She didn't have any deadbolt locks at all. Now, this was just a lady that did not have a memory condition, just needed help to be able to get those things in place. We paid for that as well. Wow. So, yeah, Brevard TRIAD's phenomenal. And again, we work with local businesses, we work with local law enforcement and senior citizens, and we come together and we try to find solutions for the problems that they may have when it comes to crime prevention.
Yeah, you guys really seem like miracle workers on all this. Now, when I hear the term TRIAD, I keep thinking it sounds like an acronym. We live on the Space Coast. We're used to NASA acronyms. Is it an acronym?
Be honest with you, I don't know.
Okay.
So the TRI in TRIAD is the state attorney's office, the sheriff's office, and local police. So that's the TRI in TRIAD. Okay. Other than that, I'm not sure.
I'm not either. Hey, that sounds good. I'm gonna go with that one.
I like it. It's good. But so if somebody is hearing about Operation Lifesaver, you know, I was thinking of a story that Joe Steckler told once. Joe, as you know, is president of the Helping Seniors organization. This is a story he tells about AJ. I think he told it at the car raffle last year that, AJ, he gets a call. This was back in his days. AJ hires the car dealership who helps us get car for the big Helping Seniors car raffle fundraiser. We'll talk more about that later in the show. But he said Joe got a call one day. He was sitting at his desk, and AJ said there's a gentleman, really sitting in front of the dealership, and he doesn't know more or less how he got here. And the story was, as Joe tells it, that they started to make a few phone calls together, found out the person had driven over from Tampa area. And so they finally figured out how to do it, and nobody was available to come get it. So literally, AJ got a couple of folks from his dealership to take the guy back home. But this is exactly what you're talking about. This happens a lot.
It does. And people don't think that someone with dementia can do something like that. And I always say, just because a person has dementia doesn't mean that they're dumb. someone with dementia. The synapses may be firing one day, they might not be the next day. They're very intelligent people, and they can do things that will absolutely amaze you. So you can't, oh, that will never happen to my dad, or that won't ever happen again, because we've had people rekey a motorcycle and drive down to Key West.
Wow.
Call out the car repair shop to rehook up the battery or rekey the car.
Oh, wow.
So, our advice always is, if there is dementia and that they shouldn't be driving, and you've got to get rid of the car completely.
Right. Yeah, we were all just out last week. The Brevard Alzheimer's Association, Brevard Commission on Aging, and a number of the great agencies here in town got together, and they do it every year for the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day Community Fair. And we were just out there, and it every time I go to one of these things, I learn so much. And I think one of the challenges is, as the number of people that are dealing with these kind of issues is exploding. You guys were talking before the show about situations that come up where maybe the family doesn't even know how to really work with this stuff.
It's true. And so a lot of times you are educating the family members and the caregivers what to be on the lookout for, how to handle things, how to adjust their schedules so that they're working the best way possible with their loved one with dementia. And I do love those expos, because every time I go, I learn something.
Yeah.
And if I can squirrel here for a second, Joe brought a box in today, and I had not seen this until that World Elder Abuse Awareness Day Expo. And he explained it to me at the expo, and I had, like I said, I had never seen this before, and it's a pretty cool thing.
It really is.
Because not everybody, unfortunately, will have a bracelet for Project Lifesaver, so this could be helpful in those situations when they don't have it. Can you explain what this little kit is?
Absolutely. Well, the criteria for Project Lifesaver is cannot have access to a motor vehicle, cannot live alone. I mean, if they live alone, how do I know they're missing?
Right.
And they have to be diagnosed with a memory condition. So we have autistic children, we have Down syndrome, and we have the dementia, the memory people. We have brain damaged people, people that have illnesses. So if they have a memory condition, they could have the tendency to wander off. We want to be able to find them. Now, some people have sensory issues where they don't want to be touched, don't want to wear jewelry, don't want to wear clothes. So, and a retired FBI agent out of Tallahassee created a program called the Scent Kit.
Wow.
And the Scent Kit is simply this little box, and inside of it is a jar. And you put rubber gloves on that's inside the box, and you take a cloth that's inside the box, and you rub it under the armpit of the person that has a tendency to wander off. And what happens is they wipe it under their armpit, then they take that and put it back inside the jar, they seal it, and then there's a piece of tape that goes over that with the date of this event when you put the cloth inside the jar. Now that scent is good for 10 years. You put it in a refrigerator.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
You put it in a refrigerator and it's good for 10 years. So when we have our bloodhounds show up, then they open that up and they let the bloodhounds smell that scent, and it's 100% that person's scent.
Wow.
Okay? Today, when we have somebody that doesn't have this scent kit, what happens is they turn around and we have to use a sock or a pillowcase or something like that. There's 100 different scents on there.
Right.
With this, it's 100% that person's scent. And it takes us no time at all to find the person we're looking for with our bloodhounds.
Wow. We're talking with Joe Downs and Jennifer Helin, and we're going to continue our conversation about Brevard TRIAD right after our mid-show break. So stay tuned with us here on Helping Seniors Radio.
12:34 right now in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. You're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard. Let's get back to more of the program. Here's the host of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the executive director of the organization, Kerry Fink. Kerry?
Hey, thank you, John Harper. Again, always great to be around the radio Wednesday at 12 noon. Tell your friends, gather around 90.3 FM, WEJF, and or if it's easier for you, you can listen online, WEJF.net. And we have been having just a really good conversation today. Jennifer Helin with Seniors Helping Seniors is here. Hello, welcome back, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
And our very special guest, Joe Downs, who is the president of Brevard TRIAD. And we have really been, welcome back, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
We have been having a really interesting discussion during the first half of the show. And if you missed any of this, no worries. everything gets archived. So you can go to helpingseniors.brevard.org. You'll be able to find this show. If you do podcasts, you'll find us everywhere podcasts are. You can find this on YouTube and Facebook. Because if you missed the first part of the show, there was some really good conversation about a project called Operation Lifesaver that helps locate people if they are... if they wander off is the best way to put it. And then we were also talking about this program, which is called Scent.
It's a scent kit.
Scent kit. And so we were like mid-conversation as we hit the mid-show break, and I want to finish that talk. But basically, in a nutshell, this is helping you track someone if they say, well, I don't know, so-and-so wandered off. And if they have one of these, it makes the whole job of finding them a lot easier, right?
It sure does. And we work with the Parker Foundation for Autism, and it's a phenomenal organization. We work with them, and they were able to find these scent kits for us. And so we also have, on top of the scent kit jars, pictures of Junie.
Oh,
the sheriff's
dog.
The sheriff's dog. You know, Sheriff Ivey's boasted about the fact that
look at that.
It's adorable.
He's the sheriff
Junie's
is the
scent
Uber
kit.
driver for Junie.
Oh, look at that.
So so that's a Junie test kit and scent kit. So again, our objective is when we have seniors or we have people have a memory condition and have a tendency to wander off or have the risk is there, and we can't put a tracking device on them. We prefer using the scent kit, put it in the refrigerator. It's good for 10 years, and there's no cost for that. And so again, that is a result of the generosity from the Parker Foundation. It's a wonderful group of people. So another thing I want to tell you about is a program that we have got. Sometimes when individuals come in contact with law enforcement, if they are autistic or they got some mental handicaps, we sometimes draw the wrong conclusion that they're on drugs or they're on alcohol. There's something wrong with them. So we had created a card called the Chance Card, CHANCE. And the purpose of the Chance Card is so they have it on their person, in their wallet, in their pocketbook, on their book bag, on a lanyard around their neck. And so when we engage with them, we realize, all first responders realize, we got this Chance Kit, and it tells us who the person is. It tells us their telephone number, their date of birth, and then who to contact in case of an emergency. And on the back side of the card is the condition of that person, a generic condition. So it doesn't get very specific, so we don't violate HIPAA laws or anything like that at all. So when we engage with them, then all of a sudden we realize who this person is. We contact our communications center, and all the information that we need to know about that person is right there. The comm center provides that information to us. There's no cost for that either. There's an application we'd have you fill out, and then we get a photograph of the person. That's all uploaded into our database and with our communications center. And this is just a phenomenal program also. Our job is to try to eliminate the risk of losing people and get them back home safe. And the Chance Card is one of those. So between the Project Lifesaver tracking device, between the Scent Kit, and between the Chance Card, it covers a lot of different areas that we're going to do our best to make sure if we find someone, we're going to get them back home safe. And that's our objective.
I want to give you, listener, a moment to grab a pencil and a piece of paper, because you're going to want to take down the numbers and the contact information that as we're talking about this. So I'm going to give you a second to do that. And while you're doing that, I also wanted to mention that as we're talking about these things, I guess, it must be very difficult from a law enforcement perspective, because, as you work and you're working together with Sheriff's Department and all the law enforcement agencies here, it's got to be a tough job for them. We often think about it from our perspective, but we never think about it in terms of the officer walking up to a car and there's a person that can't really respond. And so in those brief seconds that the officer is trying to assess the situation and figure out what to do, oftentimes that senior gets, they don't know if it's drugs, they don't know if it's alcohol, they don't, all these things. And when you take the time to work with some of these tools like, Joe, that you're talking about, this is not only helping the senior, but it's actually helping the law enforcement do their job to the best of their ability, right?
Yes, sure does. That rolls me into another topic, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I have a new role at the Sheriff's Office that
Right.
we've not had before. I'm now, as of March, I'm referred to as a Community Outreach Specialist. And basically what I am a resource bank. So when we get redundant phone calls, or we get calls to the same person or about the same person, or this morning at 2:43 in the morning, I get a call from a deputy that's got an 88-year-old man with Flagler County tags on his car sitting in a gas station asleep. And they were able to get him awake. He had full-blown dementia, and he had no idea who he was, had no idea where he was. And basically we found out that the family that he lives with, really wants nothing to do with him.
Wow.
And he's a habitual runaway. He's 88 years old. And so I was able to provide resources to be able to get him into a home. We had to Baker Act him initially because of some circumstances, but we were able to get him into a home that's going to take care of him. It's a residential home for assisted living. And then we can figure out what we're going to do then. But in the meantime, he needs to be taken care of. And we work with resources like Jennifer and others that will be able to help us get these people the kind of care that they need. So my new position with the Sheriff's Office is a community resource. I'm a resource bank, basically what it boils down to. So when I get a call about a particular individual, then I have a journal, and I go to my journal and I figure out if it's a blind person, well, here's the resources available for the blind person. If it's got something to do with dementia, here's a bunch of resources. If it's got to do with food, here's a bunch of resources. So my new position is we're stopping the redundant phone calls at the same house. A good example, we go to the same house, same lady. She continues to tell us there's 5 people sitting in her living room. They won't talk to her. She wants them out of her house. When I get there, I ask her to introduce me. She takes me over to the wall where they're allegedly sitting. There's no one there. Well, they just got up and left. Okay, well, there's somebody on your roof. You told me there's somebody on your roof. Can't you hear him? No, I can't. So went outside. We saw there wasn't anybody there. So went back inside. And what I was able to discover in a matter of 10 minutes, 15 minutes was Baker Act was not the answer. It wasn't the solution. She had medication that she had not taken for 2 years because she couldn't afford it. She hadn't seen her doctor for 2 years because she couldn't afford it. She was taken to the hospital, and they found out that she had a severe chronic UTI. That was pretty serious. She was also a diabetic. Didn't know that either. And the lack of the medication, and she was severely dehydrated. So that was a major combination. So that was on a Thursday. She comes home on a Monday. Tuesday, she's back to her old self again. She hadn't had a relationship with her neighbors or her son for 2 years because of this behavior. And again, once we were able to find the source of the problem and find the resources to be able to correct that problem, she's back fine and she's good. Everything's wonderful now. So my objective is to find the source of the problem and address it working with people like Jennifer and other people like that.
Yeah, Jennifer, I was going to say, because I've heard you talk too about the challenges with UTIs, that sometimes that makes somebody really unpredictable and causes a lot of problems. And then we, on the, I guess, just the other side of it, we don't really understand what's going on. So we're maybe confused, maybe we're a little bit scared, maybe we're frightened, and we just don't know really how to work with that.
Right. We do see it all the time. And they don't. As a younger person, there are some typical symptoms of a urinary tract infection. But as you get older, those symptoms many times are not present. And it will present with other issues like memory problems, behavioral problems, weak muscles, especially in the legs. So, we've had one gentleman that the family thankfully knew, if dad's grumpy, he's got a UTI. Yeah. Sure enough, nice guy, but boy, if he got grumpy, that's exactly what it was. We just had a lady this week. She's challenging, but never aggressive. Well, she got a little aggressive this week. Sure enough, she has a UTI. So it's one of those things that, unfortunately, it's kind of a go-to. Let's check this and make sure that that's not an issue, because there's no reason to Baker Act someone when it can be very, treated with antibiotics. So. Yeah. It's something that families really should be aware of, because if you let it go, the problems can really exacerbate. So we want to make sure that, a quick test will let us know, and antibiotics can take care of the problem.
This is really the value. I'm going to talk just for a half a second on the Helping Seniors side, because when Joe Steckler founded Helping Seniors, now we're in our, well, depending on how you count, I think Nancy likes to say we're in our 12th year of operation, but as it is, Joe's point was the problem is even though he'd done all his work, he built up the Joe's Clubs and everything as a resource for caregivers and people that need help with their loved ones to get, some daycare during the day so they can either go to work or even if they just need to go shopping or take care of some other things, there's a moment of respite for them there. So Joe created the Joe's Clubs. But I remember when I met him and he was starting up helping seniors, he said, Kerry, the problem is, he said, seniors have a lot of problems that go well beyond memory issues by themselves. And we need an organization that can start to educate people because a lot of times it's not knowing. So it's funny. We've talked a lot this year about our theme, getting your ducks in a row, helping you to think of the questions you need to ask so you can make your own aging plan. But the other part of this that I keep thinking, and it's probably going to become our theme next year, is don't do this on your own. There are a lot of great resources out there, like what Joe has been sharing, but you got to know they exist. And if you don't know they exist, you can't take advantage of them. And that's why Nancy Deerdorf, our operations director, is taking 400 plus calls a month about everything. And the good news is between Nancy and Joe and folks like you and Joe Downs with Brevard TRIAD, it's a network that's coming together to try to make sure that somehow, we say it takes a community to raise a child. It really takes a community to look after our seniors as well.
Absolutely.
So I just want to throw out our number, especially if you heard something on the show and maybe you didn't get to jot down Jennifer's number for Seniors Helping Seniors, or we're about to give Joe Downs and Brevard how you get in touch about these programs we're talking about. But you can always call Nancy Deerdorf at 321-473-7770. I'll say that again, 321-473-7770. It's a free call. We are a nonprofit, so our motivation, our reason to exist is just to serve you. There's no other hidden agenda or anything like that. We are a Florida 501c3, and we're here to serve you. And, like I said, we've helped 5,000 plus families to date since Joe established this. But going back to Joe Downs and Brevard TRIAD and also through the Brevard County Sheriff Office, people have been hearing us talk about, in particular, three different things that I think are very important. We've talked about Operation Lifesaver. We talked about the Scent Kit. And then we talked about, you call it the Chance Card, right?
The Chance Card, right.
So somebody has a question to say, this could really make a difference. How do they reach you?
Well, I want to make sure you understand the criteria is people have a memory issue.
Uh-huh.
We prefer knowing and getting a bracelet on them before they elope,
right,
instead of after. We want it to be before the fact instead of after the fact. And so if they would please call our crime prevention office. It's operated and it's overseen by Corporal J. Martinez. Mm-hmm. And so our phone number in our office is 321-264-7755. 264-7755. That's a local number. And again, if you'll call and ask to speak to me or just ask somebody about any of these programs, the Scent Kit, the Chance Card, or Project Lifesaver, we'll be able to provide you with information about that. If you don't qualify for those programs, we'll find a program that's going to be able to address your specific need.
Yeah, see, what I love about the conversation that we're having today is that there's help out there. There is help. We can't make everything go away or everything better, but when you're confronted with a situation, it's one of the reasons I think an organization like Helping Seniors is so important is because there is a body of knowledge. I always say aging is on-the-job training. None of us have ever been there before. The best we can do is pick up clues from people who have navigated it successfully. And so I've heard Nancy often refer to herself as a senior care navigator because families will call it, and they're always running into this stuff for the very first time. And what you're talking about, Joe, is that it would be great if you got a chance to talk with a family before they go wandering off and see if we could actually prevent it, because you have so many tools at your disposal in that Operation Lifesaver program that would solve the problem. And it actually saves the county money, right? Because
it does.
Because if you're having to have everybody be on the lookout, it's different when you have this targeted system that makes that process not only efficient but successful.
Well, again, when we're out looking for someone, it's taken our focus off bank robbers and other things that are going on in our county. So it's really important that the Project Lifesaver takes just a matter of minutes to find them. Once we arrive at the scene of the last place they were saw, within 30 minutes, we've got them back home. And again, we've had a 100% success ratio. We have so many people in the program now. I've got 17 people that help me. So I'm not the only one out changing the batteries every 2 months, and they're changing the batteries and the straps on the devices. And then we have people that go to the hospital or get MRIs or CAT scans. Those need to be removed while those tests are being done. Then we have to go out and take them off, go back and put them back on. So, but I'm blessed really that I have a group of people that work with me to help me. And again, I couldn't be more proud of the office that I work out of because, again, Corporal Martinez, he's a motivator. I've often said, he'll take Haiti on with a squirt gun, and this guy is one that is just, and his heart's in the same place as mine. We want to be great servants. One thing that the sheriff says time and time again is, first of all, he's surrounded by 1,500 people. He just gets out of their way and let them do their job, and that's the truth. Another thing he says, which applies to what you and I are talking about today, and that is that it takes a community to protect a community.
Right.
Okay. And that goes with the elderly, that goes with the crime issues, it goes with so many other things. So it takes the community to protect the community. And that's a great slogan, and it's one that he lives and dies by.
Yeah. And I was thinking, we're so blessed to have a sheriff that has the vision to understand this and try to find ways that we can bring programs that make these differences for seniors, Jennifer.
Yeah, and it just absolutely makes sense. And I have to squirrel for just a second, but to go back to that story that Joe had told previously, one of the things that I love about that story is that when Joe got there, many times, we'll approach them and, they've got dementia. Mm-hmm. They might not, and the unfortunately, a lot of times, that person has dementia, and I'm not going to listen to them because I can't believe what they're telling me because of their memory issue. Joe really listened to that woman and figured out what was going on, and it wasn't dementia. So he was really able to make a huge impact for that person. So I think, and one of the things that he also does is he helps train the different police agencies as he's going around with Project Lifesaver to help the officers look at that person and not, this is just a person with dementia and I can't listen to anything that they say, but to really be able to look at that person as a human being and assess what's going on for them. Right. So, I really encourage everybody out there to do the same thing. You know, and really talk to someone and listen to them. And it may not be dementia, it may be something completely different.
Right. That's true. So again, if somebody wants to reach the office and learn more about these programs, let's give that number again. So there's
321-264-7755. 264-7755.
And Jennifer Helin with Seniors Helping Seniors. If there's a number that people want to find out, like we talked about in the opening part of the show, maybe they need some help at home, or maybe they want to talk to you about a job opportunity, Seniors Helping Seniors. You can reach my office at 321-722-2999. Again, that's 321-722-2999. Yeah, we're going to shift gears and talk real quickly about the car raffle fundraiser and also the Helping Seniors Foundation cruise in the last moments of the program. But I want to say we were already talking during the mid-show break. We're going to ask Joe to come back because I want you to see Junie on the top of these scent kits. That we can do on the TV. That part we have to use the words to bring it out. But these are some great programs. Kudos to Brevard County Sheriff's Office for helping us on that. So back to the Helping Seniors car raffle. Dodge Captain Jennifer Helin. He beat me to it. Talk about the car raffle for a second. So the only car that you really want to win, even though there are 4, would be the Dodge Challenger. But there is a Chevy Camaro, the Kia Sportage, and the Mazda Miata. The winner gets to choose which car they want to take home. And you cannot lose because buying a ticket will support Helping Seniors. It will keep Nancy helping people on a day-to-day basis. Yes. It'll keep us on the radio with people like Joe Downs coming in and giving us lots of great information. You get a chance to win a car, and you get to come out to the American Muscle Car Museum the night of the event, get to go through the museum. We always have food and beverages. It's a great night out. So there's just no way you can lose. You're helping a great cause, and you're having a lot of fun at the same time. Oh, it's become the automotive night night of the year, I really think. And it's Saturday, October 29th. You do not have to be present to win, but if you're in town, put that on your calendar because you don't want to miss it. It's last year there was 2,500 plus people out there enjoying Mark Pylock's amazing collection. I don't know, $100 million worth of cars out there. And then he has been so kind. He's opened the doors for us every year since that place has been open. And every time we go back, he's got new toys.
He does. And last year we had Elaine Larson, two-time
Yes.
World Jet Dragster,
Oh.
and she's retiring this year. So people got to see her last year before she officially retires. Although
Wow.
she'll still be in the business, I'm sure. But it's so much fun to get out and meet her and go through all of those cars.
Yeah, it's going to be great fun. So how do you get tickets? Helping Seniors CarRaffle.com. You can get them online, or you can call 321-473-7770. And the other date that we just announced is for the second annual Helping Seniors Foundation Cruise. So if you remember, we had our first one. The dates got changed a couple of times because of COVID, but we all went sailing fall of last year, and 50 of us from around Brevard County were on board an MSC ship. We had a lovely sailing. Everybody's coming back. And this year we're going to amp it up a little bit because we're actually putting two sailings back to back. So there's a 2-night sailing that goes out on January 6th, right here from Port Canaveral. So you're sailing with local people right from here at home. And it sails over to the MSC private island, Ocean Cay Marine Preserve. You get to spend the full day there, get pampered on the ship for a couple of days, and what a great way to spend your weekend. And then other people are going to come back when the ship comes back, go out for 7 days and do Bahamas and Mexico. And it's just fun to sail with local people. And it's a great cruise line, and it's a new ship for us, the MSC Meraviglia. And let me just say, the deal that Chris Morse, who handles the Helping Seniors Travel Club, has negotiated is beyond anything. He's got everything in there. He's got the Wi-Fi, the gratuities, the drink package is included.
Why are you looking at me when you said that?
No, I'm just saying, even if you're not an imbiber of any kind, you get a specialty coffee, you get a Coca-Cola on board the ship. Those things add up real quick. So a drink package doesn't mean that you're, like, I'm going to party all the time.
Kerry, do you have something you want to share with us about Jennifer?
I have a tendency to like a glass of wine now and then.
It's all good. But same thing, call us at 321-473-7770, and we'll get you connected with information on that. So Joe Downs with Brevard County Triad and also Brevard County Sheriff's Office, thank you for being here today. We're going to do TV, and thank you, Jennifer Helin, always for just all you do in helping seniors, too.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
All right. And on behalf of Joe Steckler, Nancy Deerdorf, our whole Helping Seniors team, we will be looking for you next Wednesday right here on 90.3 FM WEJF.